On this week's show, Peloton hires a new CMO and CTO, and the new program updates are live.
Plus, the Peloton Repowered site is open for buying. Leanne is teaching Barre classes, and much, much more.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. Here are your hosts, Amanda Siegel and Chris Lewis.
Welcome to episode 226 of Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. I'm Amanda Siegel, and I am joined by the one and only Chris Lewis himself. Hello, Chris.
Hey, Amanda, how's it going?
It is good. It is good. All right, a new normal for this week as we bid farewell to John last week as he goes on to new pastures and new endeavors. But it's wonderful to have you in the chair next to me tonight. So I'm so glad that you're there.
Yeah, it's great to join you.
Very good. All right. Well, I think you are spending some time down in Miami while I'm up in Maryland. I mean, that's a little change of pace.
That's correct. You know, one of these days our paths are going to cross down here one day.
Right. Just don't expect me there in the summer. Although I got to tell you, Maryland's going to be so hot. Exactly. Although Maryland's going to be so hot this weekend, and I think it's kind of nice down there in Miami. So hopefully you'll get to enjoy your time there. Well, I have finally got my feet back on the ground, so it feels good to be home and have my feet on the ground and kind of get back into it slowly but surely.
Nice.
All right, Chris, we have lots and lots to talk about today, for sure. So as always, folks, before we get started with the news, we always like to remind you how you can keep up to date with all of our content across all of our platforms. Every episode is released on our YouTube channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand side of the video and hit the notify button to make sure that you never miss an episode.
Yeah, and we are also on all traditional podcast platforms, so you can just search for Pelo Buddy TV and find us on any podcast network and listen to us on the go as well.
Super. And of course, we are on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, X, you name it. Just search for Pelo Buddy and follow us on those platforms for all of the latest news. And now let's get on with the show.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
All right. Well, our first story is that Peloton's official used hardware marketplace, the Peloton Repowered website, has taken the next step of their launch, and they are now open for people to buy equipment. We shared a couple of weeks ago that they were doing a beta launch in New York City, Boston, and DC. But at the time, you could only list your equipment for sale. You couldn't actually go and buy in any of those three cities. Well, this week, they actually opened it up so that you could go start buying there as well. It's still only in those three initial cities. I believe later this year, they're going to probably do a nationwide or at least a larger rollout. But at least if you're in those three cities, you now are able to buy or sell in those. So they're kind of, trying it out in those three places before they expand across the country.
All right. Makes sense. And that's kind of exciting to see where that goes. So that's pretty good news. All right. There have also been some leadership changes recently within the C-suite at Peloton. Peloton has hired a new CMO and a CTO to drive marketing and AI innovation. On June the 12th, Peloton announced two key leadership changes. One is Megan Imbres, who will become the new Chief Marketing Officer. She is starting on July the 7th and will report directly to CEO Peter Stern and lead the brand, product, marketing, creative, growth strategy, and member engagement. Megan has previously worked at Apple, Marcom, Netflix, Amazon Ads, and Quibi. Her appointment follows the departure of former CMO Lauren Weinberg, who had left in April. Frances Shanahan has been promoted to Chief Technology Officer, a newly created role. He will report to Chief Product Officer Nick Caldwell and will lead Peloton's engineering and AI strategy. He joined Peloton back, I think it was 2021, and he helped launch features like personalized plans and revamped home screens. His background is endurance sports, and he complements his product innovation focus. These moves definitely highlight Peloton's renewed focus on creative brand storytelling and AI-driven connected fitness experiences. So we really do hope to see continued change, innovation, and propelling forward with this new C-suite arrangement. So we can only hope, Chris.
Yeah, it does seem, in the past couple of years since Nick Caldwell joined, there definitely seems to have been the pace of new features has sped up. I imagine that will continue, but it was interesting that with Francis, they specifically kept hammering home the point that he's going to be working on AI type things. So it'll be interesting to see what comes from that. But that was definitely over and over talked about how he is going to be trying to bring AI to the company.
Yeah, very exciting. So we'll wait and see. And obviously we will share whatever information we have with you guys as soon as we have it.
Yeah. Well, in another update, we shared last week or 2 weeks ago that Peloton's programs were getting a revamp, and they are now live. As we shared and as we were expecting, the big change with those is that they are now unlocked and you have an unlimited amount of time to do the programs. Before if it was a 1 week program, that night of the last night, if you weren't done, oh no, you're locked out. And there's just no flexibility. Like if you had to miss a day, if you were going on vacation a week in a multi-week program, there was no flexibility at all. Now they essentially, in a lot of ways, work more like a collection does. It's a list of classes. They have a recommended schedule, but you can take them at your own pace. They also created brand new badges for all of these. So you can get a, fancy new badge for any of them. Now, the one big downside to this is that they actually removed programs from the web browser and from TV apps like Apple TV, Roku, any of those. So there was a kind of a trade-off there. They never explicitly said why that was, but I just have to guess that, they have only so many developers and they focused on a couple platforms, and maybe the, overall usage out of the millions of people wasn't quite as high on those. So they could have just made the decision to, focus people on that. They did say there are a couple workarounds they recommended. Now that they are unlocked, you can actually stack the program classes from your phone and then play the stack on the TV. So that's one workaround. Or they recommend you can cast the phone to your TV as well. I know a lot of people have issues with casting and it's not always reliable, but those are kind of the two workarounds that Peloton, recommended people try as part of this. But those are now live. And when they made those live, they also launched 4 new 1-week split programs, which we shared about last week. And more expected to come there. But big changes in the programs are now live.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I really like that change because it did get frustrating sometimes, especially with me and my schedule being kind of all over the place. If I missed one or two, or I used to get frustrated that I couldn't finish it. So I do like that change. It's a great one. It's good. All right. Well, I know that the Leanne Hainsby Aldous crew are definitely excited about this one. She is once more teasing the possibility of expanding into Barre or Pilates classes. So during the cool down segment of the British Summer Fest 2-for-1 strength class, we all know that Leanne popped in and joined Ben and Jocelyn at the end of that class. And casually mentioned that she should be there more often, especially for doing pliés, which is a foundational bar move. So this also follows her earlier teasers back in October of 2024, when she posted on social media content labeling Barre. Though no updates followed at that time, now Leanne has reignited that speculation by mentioning new class types she's working on and suggesting that an official announcement could be coming soon. Currently, as you guys know, Peloton offers Barre classes through Hannah Corbin and Annie Love, though Allie hasn't released one in about 2 months. So this could possibly be opening space for Leanne to step in as we assume that Ali will be off the platform as well for some time. So at least that will be a nice way for Leanne to kind of have her intro into it and really be involved in that. So yeah, exciting stuff to look forward to for sure.
Nice. Well, in other news, it's towards the end of the month, which means we are finding out about the artist series for the next month. So this past Thursday, Peloton opened up the studio booking site for the July artist series. It looks like it's going to be possibly a small set of artist series for the month. There is only one that as of right now is going to have studio members, and it will be an artist series with Moby, and that will be on July 17th. There's going to be 2 classes with members in the studio, a yoga flow with Kira Michelle, and then a run with Mariana Fernandez. Now, we do know that there will likely be more classes of that series. They normally drop some on demand or have live without members. And then we've also seen, just this past month in June, there could be some last minute drops that just don't have members in the studio.
Right.
So we might see some other weeks where we had Luther Vandross pop up with 10 classes or so. There were no members in the studio. And then there was the Cynthia Erivo series that was, on a Friday night, they posted to be there tomorrow, and it just showed up. And then things to keep in mind that, July is when the summer closures are starting at Peloton Studios New York. So that could also be factoring into the lack of some of it as the, cycling and tread studios are closed and going back and forth.
That was definitely my thought. I figured that makes the most sense with there being, almost no tread and cycling classes for a period of time. Definitely makes some sense there. Well, what we do have coming up is a new Britney Spears class collection, which has been launched, and it is offering a special badge for members who retake Cody Rigsby's original 30-minute Britney Spears ride. Folks are supposed to take that between June 17th and June 23rd. So you really have a fixed period of time to be able to take this, as it is part of a campaign to push the ride back to number 1 in its most taken class spot. This is in anticipation of the upcoming second Britney Spears Artist Series, which is launching at the end of this month on June 24th. The updated collection features 8 workouts from the original 2020 Britney Spears Artist Series and celebrates the 25th anniversary of her iconic album, Oops, I Did It Again. More new classes will be added with the upcoming Artist Series, which includes multiple Cody-led rides and a bike boot camp. Note also, folks, that the badge is not retroactive. So if you are that person that loves getting those badges, you do have to retake the ride during that eligible window to be able to earn it, even if you've done it before. But I had a question for you, Chris, because I couldn't find that info. I want to know what pushed Cody out. What became the most popular class on the platform?
I believe it was one of Robin's Taylor Swift rides that took the spot. Now, but I believe they're looking at non-warm-up cycling classes when they're talking about it, because I believe one of Emma's core classes has been taken like 3 million times.
Okay.
So they're not talking about overcoming that. I believe they're talking about, non-warm-up cycling longer classes, and I believe it was one of Robin's Taylor Swift rides that took the throne of that.
Okay. So competition between Robin and Cody. We got to get that Britney Spears back up there. That's kind of fun. Definitely fun.
Well, as I alluded to in an earlier story, Peloton had a new artist series that took place with Luther Vandross, and that was dropped on this past Thursday, June 19th. I believe there are around 10 or so classes, and 9 of them were dropped on demand. And then there was one live ride on Friday with Mila Lazar. And we've got a whole list of those, the full list of classes in that artist series over on the website if you want to check that out, or they're on the on-demand library now.
Nice. I actually did that Cynthia Erivo yoga flow with Chelsea. Her energy was just absolutely pouring out of the screen. It was really, really fun to be a part of that class. So I did that on Thursday morning, which was nice. All right. As Chris had also mentioned in that previous story, we had a surprise Cynthia Erivo artist series with 3 new classes that dropped this last week. The artist series celebrates the talents of Cynthia Erivo. She is an acclaimed British actress, singer, and producer. And if anybody got to watch the Tonys last Sunday night, you would have been wowed by just her absolutely spectacular everything. Her voice, her appearance, her command, and just her really stealing the show. So it definitely does align with all these milestones that she is going through at the moment. One of them also being the release of her new album, I Forgive You. And of course, she will be starring in the second release of the Wicked Ensemble, Wicked movie that comes out in November for good later this year. So Cynthia's series includes 3 on-demand classes. They were released on June 14th. We got a 20-minute walk plus run with Maddie Majacomo, my pick of the week this week, and then a 20-minute ride with Tunde. Jeffrey McKeechan also had a 20-minute run, which was in German. So these classes were dropped, as I said, on demand. Members will earn a Cynthia Erivo Artist Series badge by taking any of the workouts.
Just to clarify, it's a standard artist series badge, so it's not a custom badge just for the series. It's the standard. Okay, yeah.
Thanks for clarifying that, because I did think that it was standard and I didn't know why it was coming up as a special badge. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Well, also this week, June 19th was Juneteenth, and while both studios were closed with no live classes on Thursday, there were several special Juneteenth classes released on demand. There were 4 of those. There was a walk with Marcel Jenkins, a row with Ash Pryor, a meditation with Chelsea Jackson Roberts, and then there was a 2-for-1 ride with Alex Toussaint and Tunde, and that was called The Cookout. So those 4 classes were released this past Thursday and are available, but those classes do have a special Juneteenth 2025 badge. So if you take any of those, and then there's a mix since Luther Vandross series came out on Juneteenth. I believe some of those are awarding them, but not all. But there is a special Juneteenth badge for taking those classes, and it's a new one for this year. So that's available to go get some more badges.
Nice. All right. We share with you each week Peloton's weekly highlights for this week at Peloton. And for the week of June 16th through the 22nd, they do include those Juneteenth celebrations. There are new class formats and an instructor milestone. The feature classes this week are the, Juneteenth programming that Chris just shared with you. Those classes dropped, as we said, on June 19th. Then we have some live classes, which included a 50-50 row boot camp with Katie Wong. This was on Tuesday, the 17th, and it was at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. A 60-minute full body strength with Rebecca Kennedy, which is today, Sunday, the 22nd at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then a 10-minute sleep meditation with Dennis Morton, which will drop tonight at 10 p.m. This will be Dennis's first since becoming a dedicated meditation instructor. So if you've been waiting for a new sleep meditation from Dennis, or a sleep meditation from Dennis, you've got it. It will drop tonight.
Nice. Well, we shared... Andy Sphere has a new 4-week beginner program that is available on the Strength Plus app. It is called Spark Your Strength, and it is an introductory program to hypertrophy training. This is only on the Strength Plus app, so right now it's only available on iOS to the iOS users in the US. Hopefully that expands soon. We haven't heard anything recently about, when that might come to Android or other countries. but the description for this is spend 4 weeks building full body muscle while learning the fundamentals of hypertrophy training and get comfortable with new training tools. So it's there are 5 workouts each week. It's a 45-minute full body strength, a 20-minute mobility, a 45-minute full body strength, 20-minute mobility, 45-minute full body strength, and there are 4 weeks of this program. So that's available now in Strength Plus app. And then sticking with Andy, he also teased that he has a brand new split strength training program on the way, which would be in the regular Peloton app. During a recent mobility class, he teased that the mobility class was designed specifically for his 5-day advanced split program, which he said at the time was available in programs, but I believe this was probably just released a little bit too early. So we are now also keeping an eye out for Andy to have a new 5-day splits program, and we'll be sure to share when that actually launches.
Nice. Very nice. All right. Well, this one I think lots of people have been waiting for. So Peloton has announced that several of the New York instructors will be heading to London this summer to do live classes from PSL. Bookings for the first round of in-person London classes dropped this past Thursday, June the 19th. Olivia Amato is first up with a 30-minute ride on Sunday, July the 13th, a 30-minute ride on Friday, July the 18th, and a 30-minute walk on Saturday, July the 19th. Classes with Cody Rigsby and Bex Gentry also dropped. Cody has a 45-minute ride on Friday, July the 25th, a ride on Saturday the 26th, and wait for it, a 2-for-1 walk with none other than John Husking on Tuesday, July 29th. So there's like so much that I can say about that particular one. Firstly, it's on a Tuesday.
You did not say that incorrectly. It is a Cody doing a walk.
Yes, I did. Right. So let's go back. Firstly, it's on a Tuesday. So we know that typically there aren't classes in London that are live with members on Tuesday. So that's the first bit of good news. The second bit of good news is that it is a 2-for-1 with John Husking. And the third, as Chris just said, it's a walk. So that is going to be so hysterical. I can't even imagine what the two of them are going to get up to. But not to dim the light on the beautiful Bex Gentry, because she will also be in studio that weekend. And I know that folks are really excited about this one. She is going to have a 60-minute run on Sunday, the 27th. So this again is July. And then a 30-minute run on Monday, the 28th. So really, really some amazing classes. We will also be seeing classes drop from Emma Lovewell and Nico Serrani. Those have not yet been dropped. They did say, though, that these new bookings will be released weekly every Thursday. And the full class schedule will go live on the booking site. When I looked before we recorded, they were, of course, all chock-a-block full. Not even waitlist spots available. So
I actually did see, like, even Cody a couple hours ago did have a waitlist pop up. So there are some waitlists popping up for those.
I don't know. Really?
Yep.
And I looked too. So maybe between you looking and me looking, something either opened up or closed. But anyway, keep your eye on it, because London does tend to have waitlist spots pop up. So definitely keep your eyes, peeled to if you really, really desperately want to do one of those classes. Just to end that, I just wanted to share that this really is a shift, in part of Peloton's plan of temporarily expanding the London studio schedule while Peloton Studios New York will undergo these upgrades and closures throughout July and August. And these include, which we've mentioned in the past, the 4K camera installation and some of the renovations that they're doing, with live classes paused in New York during various windows by modality. So between July and August, there will be, couple weeks at a time of no tread classes and then no bike classes, and then it'll flip over to strength and yoga.
So we are expecting more 2-for-1 classes. Like this Cody and John is not a one-off. They has teased that some of these other instructors will be doing 2-for-1s as well. The one other specific one they did tease was, I believe they said there's going to be a Susie and Beck's outdoor run, but I'm sure there are going to be others as well. So, maybe every other week or something, we'll see a special 2-for-1 with some of the coaches who are over there. So those should be good to look forward to.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. Well, speaking with the studio, in recent months, Peloton has made a small upgrade that some people might be excited to see. For the longest time, when you were taking an in-person class, there was no way to get your heart rate when you were taking that class. You just had to, use another device, or you just couldn't connect it to the monitor in the studio. But now if you have an Apple Watch or a Android smartwatch like the Samsung Galaxy, you can open the Peloton app on your watch and it will automatically connect to the device you are on, and it will show you your heart rate while you're taking the class, and it will record it to your file and your workout just like it would be if you were at home. So small upgrade. It's not super recent. Like it was a couple months ago, but not everyone's heard about it. So we just figured we would share. So if you're going to the studio and you have an Apple Watch, just make sure to open the Peloton app on your watch and you should be able to get your heart rate going.
Nice. Really nice. All right. Well, switching gears, Bex Gentry will be joining actress and philanthropist Jennifer Garner for the finale of Jennifer's 67 Strong for Kids Challenge. This is a 67-day campaign to run at least 1 mile daily in support of Save the Children. It's a global nonprofit. The culminating event, Jen Garner's final mile for kids, will take place today. That's June the 22nd from 8:15 to 10 a.m. in Santa Monica, California. It's a free 1 mile fun run or walk, and it's open to the public. Folks were able to RSVP via Eventbrite, and the event included a scenic traffic-free course, a post-run breakfast, remarks from Save the Children's leadership, guest paces from Brooks Running and Boyle Heights Bridge Runners, and last but not least, Bex will be running alongside Jennifer. Actually, you know what? I want to retract that. She just mentioned, or maybe she's just doing the mile. She was supposed to do a marathon as well.
On Saturday, which was in the Grandmother's Marathon, and she had to not do that because of the logistics.
I knew I'd seen something on social, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't get that mixed up. Okay, great. So she will absolutely be running alongside Jen, who has already raised $500,000, aiming to reach $1 million. This is inspired by the statistic that $67 can help a malnutrition child. So definitely a phenomenal cause. She is just incredible, and I love seeing her and Bex together in something like this. For those of you who are unable to attend, though, those in person, there's going to be a virtual option, and that was available through Partick iPens. I think that's what it was called, that they can run a mile. They said to post on social media, tag at Save the Children or at Jennifer Garner or at Bex Gentry. And then that way you can still get credit for doing that. As you guys know, Jennifer Garner has a long-standing tie with Peloton. She has done meditation sessions with Chelsea Jackson Roberts, and has previously credited Bex and Peloton for helping her train for her role in Deadpool and Wolverine. So she's definitely used the platform for her own personal, strength and training, in these roles. So really nice to see them together.
Yeah, well, in other events that Peloton instructors are doing, Ben Aldis and Jeffrey McEachern are going to be out and about in London this past weekend. Ben Aldis was teaching. This is part of the London Cycle Festival weekend in partnership with Via Criterium. On Saturday, Ben Aldis taught a free 30-minute body weight strength class. and people were able to go sign up for that. It was started at 8:30 a.m. And Peloton provided mats and swag, but Ben was teaching a free class out there. And then Saturday night, there is a group, an organization that does a Solstice 5K and 10K run, which is a free group run, but that was taking part on Saturday night. But Jeffrey McEachern was out there, and he was going to teach the help lead a warm up before that session. So those were both in partnership with the London Cycle Festival. And then in addition, Peloton had a booth at the Village for that event, and people could do trials of the equipment. But Peloton was actually, for every 5-minute run or ride done during the weekend, Peloton was going to donate some money to the Sporting Equals charity, who they've worked with in the past, up to a maximum of £1,500. So that took place this weekend. So some people might have seen Ben and Jeffrey out there.
Very nice. All right. Well, Adrian Williams has also been busy. Will be busy. He is going to be teaching 2 strength and stretch classes at the Lululemon Summer Club event on Wednesday, July the 2nd, in Watermill, New York. This exclusive wellness retreat celebrates the 10th anniversary of the Lululemon Align collection, highlighting some highlights of the event is that there will be 2 45-minute sessions, one at 7:30 a.m. to 8:15 a.m., and then a second from 10 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. The sessions will include strength training, dynamic movement, and guided stretching. After the class, participants can enjoy poolside lounging, tennis, refreshments, and more. The location is private and will only be shared after registration. The cost is $50 per ticket, which includes valet parking, and the proceeds benefit iTry, which is a non-profit empowering middle school girls through triathlon training. Adrian, who, as we know, is a Lululemon ambassador, has previously participated in several events through the brand's community initiatives. So this is just another one, and everybody loves seeing him out there.
Definitely. Well, changing gears entirely, if you are a Chase Sapphire Reserve credit card holder, you are about to get some free membership credits on your credit card if you use that card to pay for your Peloton membership. The Chase is making some big updates to the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, and they are bringing back Peloton as a perk. They did this 5 or so years ago, but it was kind of a limited time thing for about a year, but it sounds like this is going to be an ongoing benefit. But basically, every year you can get up to $120 of membership credits over the course of the year towards your Peloton membership. That includes the All Access membership, App One, Guide. So we've seen some of these in the past that don't always apply to All Access membership, but this actually will apply to you. Now, the downside is All Access membership is $44 a month. So this is really only going to pay for basically 3 months of that membership.
Okay.
But it's more than 0. So, that is a perk. Now, this does come with them. This is not the only change being done on the Sapphire Reserve card. They're changing the annual fee from $550 a year to almost $800. But they're also adding things like a $250 credit towards Apple TV Plus and Apple Music, $300 credit towards StubHub, complimentary IHG, rewards platinum status, and some other things. So these changes are supposed to go into effect on June 23rd. If you get the card after that, you'll start getting the Peloton membership immediately. If you already have it, I believe you don't get the Peloton credits until around October or so. But like I said, these changes are officially rolling out June 23rd. So look for more information from Chase. Then if there's more information, we might do another post about that, but we have all the details that are known so far on an article on our website.
Nice. Really nice. All right. Good stuff. Well, last little bit of news here is happy birthday to Selena Samuela. She celebrates her birthday today. So happy birthday to you from us here at Pelo Buddy TV. All right, Chris, let's go right into Instructor in the News, and I will have you kick it off.
Sounds great. Well, the Cannes Lions Festival took place this past week, and a bunch of Peloton instructors were there. There were they were involved in various aspects. One big aspect was that they were involved in the sports beach and actually teaching some free classes. So Ben Aldis and Jess King, there was a body weight strength class that took place on Monday. Sorry, that was on Tuesday. And then on Monday, the day before, they actually led a group run club, and Ben and Jess led both of those. Now, they were not the only instructors out there. I know Aditi Shaw was out there, Robin Arzon was out there, Kirsten Ferguson was out there. I might be forgetting somebody, but there are a bunch of people out doing a bunch of different events. They're involved with various panels. So yeah, Peloton was out in full force at the Cannes Lion Festival this year.
Yeah, it was really nice to see them all there. So that was cool. That was cool. All right. And who better to share the next story than an ex-South African? Tunde was featured in Glamour South Africa, hitting the front cover together with an inspirational exclusive. Tunde opens up about her career shift, overcoming imposter syndrome, and how movement became her purpose. She shares why true wellness is more than just a workout and why she's suiting up for her next big chapter with intention, courage, and authenticity. She says that in a world where fitness is often ruled by comparison and perfection, she is the proof that taking a leap of faith can lead to a powerful transformation. Over a decade ago, she started in the beauty industry. She then took a leap of faith that would not only redefine her career, but reshape how people approach wellness and self-worth. Today, she is a Peloton superstar, a best-selling author, a Nike athlete, and a motivational force, including, building inclusive and empowering spaces. So huge shout out to Tunde. Of course, we are all waiting with bated breath for the results of the Sports Illustrated competition to come out.
Let me jump in and just remind people, voting for that is open through July 31st, and you can vote every day. So, if you're not, we have the link to how to vote over on our website. So you can vote every single day, once a day for Tunde. And, voting's one part of how they're making that choice, not the only thing, but you can vote until July 31st for her in the swimsuit contest.
Yeah, please vote. Amazing.
Nice.
All right.
Well, Olivia Amato shared this past week that she is now an ambassador for Kane Footwear and Shoes. So she's now teamed up with the brand. She's got a social media post about working with them. And then there's an entire page dedicated to Olivia over on the website with a little bio about her and then some of her pics of their favorite shoes. So that's a new partnership for Olivia that's she just announced this past week.
These instructors are busy bees because not only was Kirsten Ferguson in Cannes at the festival, she was also in the manual in a powerful and candid interview with the manual. Kirsten shared how fitness became a crucial part of her mental health journey, especially during a difficult fertility experience. For Kirsten, movement is more than exercise. She says it's a daily act of self-preservation, reflection, and healing. She urges folks, especially parents of all those feeling overwhelmed, to remember that life comes in seasons. And the key is to build mental health tools and normalize the conversation around wellness, especially for men. She says that true strength lies in seeking support and showing up for yourself.
Nice. Well, to wrap things up for instructors in the news, Chelsea Jackson Roberts spoke at TEDx Harlem yesterday. This took place at the Apollo's Victoria Theater, and she was it was their Freedom Edition. So I'm not sure how quickly, if there's going to be a video of that shared online or not, but that might be available if you want to go check out her talk. And that was yesterday.
All right, nice. All right, folks, we will roll right into picks of the week. I will kick it off. First up, we have Chelsea Jackson Roberts, she is a busy bee. She had a 60-minute yoga flow on June the 13th. It was at 7:30 a.m. And this one came to us from our very faithful Amajar 3. Amanda said, loved having an extra long yoga flow. And then we got Ben and Jocelyn's 30-minute British Summer Fest 2-for-1 strength class, also from the 13th. That one was at noon. It came to us from Carl Runs 8, and they said just a fun class featuring Ben and Jocelyn. Still sticking with the British Summerfest, we had Jermaine Johnson, who gave us a 10-minute stretch, also from the 13th. This one comes to us from Gwen Gets To, and they said a great stretch that hits all the major muscle groups.
Yes, and then we have the 30-minute British Summerfest Move as One, which was all the most of the UK instructors, Sam, Bradley, Hannah, Leanne, Ben. I don't think I'm forgetting anybody, but a whole group of UK Peloton instructors. This was on the 13th at 1:30 p.m. This came from Roz Reich 712, EF Osborne 83, and Amajar 3, who said amazing energy from the UK instructors and guests. Great playlist and great banter. Then we have Alex Karwoski and his 30-minute Father's Day run from the 13th as well. This came from Just Dance Lisa, who said great playlist and storytelling from Alex. And then we have Christian Vandeveld and his 45-minute Real Routes Las Palmas ride from the 13th at 5:30 p.m. This came from All Biz Liz and Just Dance Lisa, who said this whole series is so fun and CVV explains the route so well.
All right. The next one is mine, and I would be remiss to say it was the most beautiful walk plus run. It was Maddie Majacomo's 20-minute Cynthia Erivo class. It was from June the 14th. I got to tell you, I did not know that she was a recording artist in its own right. I really thought that she was just a Broadway star and actress, etc. So this for me was absolutely phenomenal. He picked fantastic songs. He didn't choose any Wicked songs, which I actually was a little disappointed about, but kind of accepted it. But it was lovely to hear her work, and just a really well-structured walk plus run. So huge shout out to Maddie for that one. The next one I chose as well, but it also came to us from Just Dance Lisa and Amajar 3, and it was Benny Adami's 30-minute Dine concert, the sing-along ride. It was in German. It dropped on June 14th at 9 a.m. And I got to tell you, that dude was so hyped up for that class. He was so excited about doing it, and it showed. What I did find out, which I will share with you guys, was that the members actually got a list of the songs before the class. And
interesting.
Yes, I wanted to share that with you right here live, Chris, because I just found that out. They were asked to rehearse them, so they really wanted participation, from members. And I got to give a huge shout out to my friend Laura, Strong Mama Laura, who was in the front row in the class, and she was having the time of her life. She was belting out those songs. She knew all the words. And I just had to give her such a huge shout out because it was fantastic. I have to tell you, I wish that Benny hadn't spoken as much as he had. He was really focused on the class structure, and I would have preferred for him to have rather just gone with the music and just had fun. But other than that, brilliant songs. It was really fun. You don't have to speak German to do the class. He throws in a lot of English words here and there. Really easy for folks to follow along with. And then we had Aditi Shah's 30-minute Rising Pop Yoga Flow, also from the 14th, also coming to us from Amajar 3. And she said fun playlist and great energy.
And then we have Nico Serrani in her 30-minute Deep House Yoga Flow, which was in English from the 15th at 2 p.m. Eastern. This came from Almajar 3, who said, we worked on Eagle Pose, which paired great with the music. We then have Selena Samuela's 30-minute Pop Walk from the 15th at 2:30 p.m. This came from Tough Tiff Sweats, who said, fun music and programming. then we have Rad Lopez and his 20-minute arms and shoulders strength, which is in Spanish, from the 17th at midnight. This came from Julie MJ, who said awesome bachata playlist and solid programming.
Nice. All right. Then we have Ali Love. She had a 20-minute 80s pop ride on June the 17th, 7 a.m. It came to us from Summer Baby, and they said one of her best playlists. Great to groove to. Wow. All right. And then my boy, John Husking, 30-minute classic rock run from the 17th. It came to us from Summer Baby, and they said great long intervals to U.S. bands. And then Emma Lovewell had a 30-minute pop punk ride, also from the 17th, came to us from Surly Manor. This was tough as nails, but never felt impossible.
Then we have Rebecca Kennedy in her 10-minute core strength class from the 17th at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. This came from Katie Carey, who said new moves, great guidance, and an even better burn. We then have Eric Yeager, who actually taught a 120-minute, 2-hour Power Zone endurance ride, which was in German, which was on the 17th at 12:30 Eastern. This came from Power Spins 82, who said another new 120-minute Power Zone ride. What isn't to love? And then to round things out, we have Bradley Rose in a 15-minute hit ride from the 17th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. This came from David Graves. He said this was a hit ladder, a short burst, intense ride. And that wraps up the picks of the week.
That wraps up the picks of the week. And I think we did it in pretty good timing, Chris, even with so much. There was a lot of news this week. We haven't had that much news in a while.
I figure, you never know. With the studio being closed this past Thursday, you never know if that makes the whole week slow or they're going to cram stuff in to make up for the day off. And it seemed to be, still a pretty busy week. We'll see with the studio being closed in the summer if that impacts things. But, the corporate offices are probably still open. So,
exactly.
We got stuff like walking pace targets should be on the way soon. So, we'll be expecting news of that. So, plenty of stuff still to come.
All right. Well, it was wonderful to have you. And it was, good to get back in the swing of things and share what is going on. So,
definitely.
Folks, as always, thank you so much for tuning in and listening and spending an hour with us to catch up on all the latest Peloton news. From me here in hot and very stormy Maryland. Bye for now, everybody.
And from me here, we're in, not in Atlanta, but from Miami today. Thanks for listening, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your source for everything Peloton, by the community, for the community. Work out with us using the Pelo Buddy TV leaderboard tag. And don't forget to find us on Facebook, Instagram, and X at Pelo Buddy. Don't forget that we have a podcast available. Just search for Pelo Buddy wherever you get your podcasts from. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.